All right, hi everyone. Very good evening. Very good evening. Welcoming you all inside the 5 days live bootcamp. This is day three of the bootcamp. I hope you all can hear me and see me properly. If yes, then please type LC loud and clear in the chat box, and then we all can begin with today's session. Hi Chandan, hi Sonali, Shimpa, Vikram, Shweta, Chandan. If you all can quickly turn your videos on, that will be cool, and then we all can begin with today's session. Thank you so much, Anushka. Thank you so much, Anuj. Thank you so much, Gayatri. Thank you so much, Chandan, Deepti. Okay, Abhishek, waiting for others. Waiting for others. If you all can quickly turn the videos on, that will be great. And then we all can begin with today's session. Thank you so much, Anuj. Waiting for others. If you all can quickly turn the videos on. And meanwhile, please let me know inside the chat box how was your experience inside the last session. In the last session, we have talked about loops, we have talked about some conditionals, we have also talked about the functions, we have talked about the arrow functions, right? And in today's session, we are going to talk about a bit advanced things about arrays, advanced things about about DOM. So it's going to be a much advanced session today, right? So what I want from you people is, before we actually begin out, I want from you people to focus on the class, right? I want you to have a good takedown experience, and I'll be giving you enough time today at the end to ask the questions. Apart from that, if you will listen very clearly to me, like if you listen each and every word, you'll have very clear understanding and you'll not be even able to ask any question, right? Like the things will be pretty clear. But for that, I want you to have complete attention today for the next 75 minutes. Can you all do that? No distractions, nothing to distract you, no TV, no mobile phone for the next 75 minutes. No one in the room, even if it's possible. Make sure there's no one to disturb you for the next 75 minutes. Can you do that? Yeah, cool. Okay. Waiting for others. Waiting for others. Please be quick. Waiting for others. Please be quick. Be ready. Once you're ready, type ready in the chat box. And then we all can begin with today's session. Yeah, if you're ready, please quickly type ready inside the chat box. And then we all can begin with today's session. All right. All right. So once again, the quick rules and regulations, you already know that. But once again, for the people, if there's anyone new, right? So make sure your cameras are on throughout the session, right? Your mics will always be off just to ensure you all can hear me loud and clear without any distractions, right? Please make sure there are no unwanted or personal messages in the chat box. Otherwise, you will be removed without any warning. Apart from that, if you have any doubts, first of all, make sure you note it down so that you can even ask that in the end. But if you will listen out to me very carefully, your doubts will be cleared 95% of the times, even without you asking, right? And please do not try to write the code with me. I will share the code with an assignment and then you can practice that at the end of the session. Is that clear to everyone? Yes, if it's clear, please type C for clear in the chat box and we can jump onto the coding part now. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let me just quickly move on to the coding part and then we all can begin with today's session, right? Today's session is going to be very important because whatever we have done so far, today we will be seeing some implementations of that. I am super excited to show you the implementations of what exactly we have done in today's session. If you are also excited, please type excited inside the chat box. All So I believe that my screen is visible to everyone. If it's visible, please type V for visible inside the chat box. If my screen is visible to you, then please type V for visible in the chat box. Is my screen visible to everyone? Yeah? Okay, great. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Waiting for others. Okay, 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 perfect. As usual, we will open VS Code and inside this, I will just open a new project folder. So inside desktop, we can create a new folder. I will name it as basically JS and it's day 3 and this is 319, right? So let's open it up. This is what we have. And as usual, I need two files. One is going to be my HTML file and the second one is basically going to be my CSS file. So, not CSS, basically a JavaScript file. So app.js. Okay. We do not need CSS for now. So I will remove this and basic HTML boilerplate. And with a script tag, I need the source attribute and it goes with app.js, right? And this is where I will be writing my JavaScript code, right? So we will be talking about array mapping and filters, right? And then we'll be talking about some DOM and we'll be making some cool applications today. Like we'll be making a counter app today, okay? Okay. So let's start with the very first thing. What is array mapping and filters? See, listen. The name itself is suggesting something, right? If you see this name itself, it's a combination of two things, mapping and array, correct? So the name itself very clear that something we are doing inside an array, yes or no? We want to do something with an array, correct? So what I need now is, I need an array first of all, right? So what I will do, I will just create an array, right? Let's say that we have an array called ARR, and this array is having some numbers, let's say 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, right? Simple. Okay. Now, if I just try to log this out, I will be having an array. So ARR, and now if we go live from here, basically from this, let's inspect it. I have my array by default, right? Very easy and simple. Now imagine I want to do something inside this array. What? I want to do something in each and every value. In each and every value, which means I want to do something with 1 also, something with 2 also, something with 3 also, something with 4 also, and with each and every number. Are you getting this? Now something could be, see, this is an example. So it could be, I want to calculate square of every number. I want to calculate cube of every number. I want to just add 5 in every number. Or I want to anything. It could be anything, right? Yes or no? And in that case, actually array mapping helps us. Okay. So what is array mapping? Array mapping is used to transform or map the array. Matlab, what's the meaning of this? Listen, the meaning is, if I have, see, inside an array we have so many numbers, so many values. It could be 2 values, 3 values also, it could be 100 values also, correct? So if I just want to do something in each and every value, I can easily use a map. So Ashish, I can do the same thing. I can do the same thing with the loop also. Then what's the use of map? I will come on that point also. But first of all, let's see how to use it. And then we will also talk about the differences. Okay. We will talk about the differences. But before that, let's talk about the use of this. Correct? See this. I will take a variable. Imagine I want to calculate the square for now. Okay. I want to calculate square as of now. So I'll say that let square is equals to ARR is my array. This ARR is my array. Correct? Dot map. Map means I want to map it. Correct? Is it clear so far? Very easy. Now what I want, inside this, I have to use a function like this. Are you all getting this? Yes? Very good. Now inside this function, I can say something like this. I can say something like this. I can say, I want to return, and return what? Something. Let's say n multiplied by n. Now what is this? N? N is a variable. I will take the same n variable here also. Now see, let me show you what is happening first of all. Okay. See, I am saying array dot map. Now what will happen? This array is this array. So now it, with the help of map, this value will be passed inside this function one by one. Are you getting this? One by one, the value will be passed inside the function that we have created. And here we are taking a variable. So whatever value is being passed will be there in this variable, and then we are returning something. Are you getting this much, everyone? Yes or no? Are you all getting this quickly? Yes or no in the chat box? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are you all getting this? Very good. Waiting for others? Okay. Waiting for others. Are you all getting this? Yeah. Okay. Anyone who's not getting this, no worries. Just see the output. I will show you how it works. See, let's go on and let's try to see the output. See this. If I'm saying here console.log and I say square, right? See this. Now I'm getting an array with the square of every number. Yes or no? Now I have this square of every number, correct? That's what I'm getting now. Square of 1 is 1, square of 2 is 4, 3 is 9, 4 is 16, 5 is 25, and so on. Correct? Okay. Now, see, I'm using a function over here. So instead of this function, we can use arrow function also. Yes or no? It is up to you. So I can even say it like this. Yes or no? Now see, this code looks now more cleaner. And I can say n over here. And here I can say, I want to return n multiplied by n. Right? If you see this, still you have the same output. Okay. 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 Once again, let's see with the help of one more example. Okay. Let's try to understand what is happening in this. Everyone, anyone who is not able to understand map, listen once again. Listen what it is doing. Listen. See, when I'm saying, everyone listen out to me. Please listen out to me. Is this much clear to everyone? Right? I have this array which is ARR, and inside this array, I want to use map. Is this clear to everyone? Yes or no? Is this clear to everyone? Yes or no? Great. Now, what is happening? What this will do? This will just pass all the values one by one inside this map. Okay. It will pass all these values one by one inside this. Okay. Then what? I want to use a function which will do something that we will write. So I will just say I want to return what? Number multiplied by number. And here, now see, this is a variable name. You can say x multiplied by x also. Anything, right? And here it will be x. Right? So this x variable is receiving the values one by one that my array is passing, that the map is passing. And if you see this, we are still having this. Now, if you need a cube of a number, you can say like this. So now it becomes cube of a number like 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, 216, 343, and so on. Are you all getting this? Yes or no? Yes or no? Cool. Ashish, what is the use of this? We will talk about that. I know right now it feels key. In real time, when we will be calculating the square of a number, in real time, when I'll be calculating cube of a number, I know that. Do not worry. We will talk about that. Okay? We'll talk about the use cases. Right? Okay. Okay. Is this clear to everyone? Right? Okay. Now, imagine of a scenario where we want to use it in a real time, in a very real time use case. Imagine I have so many users now. I have an array of users, and inside my array, I have the object, right? So I have basically some first name, and let's say the first name is Ashish. Then I even have, the last name, and which is going to be Shukla. And then I have something like this, where I have I have the age, which is 24, and then I have gender, which is male, right? And then I have the address as well. And what is the address? The address is basically Allahabad, right? I have this one object. Let me copy this. And now I will try to create some more objects. Why? So that we can see how we can use array mapping and filters. Now let me just update the values over here quickly. So I'll say that We have Yash. Then we have Arpit over here, and we can say Arpit Kumar. I could say over here Himanshu. I could say Srivastav. I could say Nayan Kapoor. I could say over here Bhavna. I could say over here, like Akash, right? And I could say over here Anand, and the age becomes 28. The age becomes 21. Age becomes 20, 27, 23. Okay, fine. This is done. This is done. Now here I could say something else. Himanshi, right? And here it could be this, it could be this, it could be female, this could be female, right? Then we could say here Raghav, right? Okay, fine. I could say over here we have Neha, and I could say over here Singh. And then I have someone as, like let's say Varun Kumar. And then the last one now, so I could say Madhav and Singh, right? Or let's make a few more. I'll just say Gargi, right? And this becomes 24. This becomes female. Let's just change the address as well. Or let the address be as it is for now. Yeah. Okay. Now what I want, see, now I have so many values, correct? Now I have so many doubts, correct? Yes, Abana, absolutely. You can use the map in this case. Now see, if I just try to log this, see this. If I just try to log all these values, what will happen? If I just try to say console.log and I have the users, correct? If you see this, I have got 12 users, and these 12 users has the first name, the last name, and all of these values, correct? Now imagine of a scenario where you are not interested in all the values, but you are only interested the name. You are only interested inside names, right? And you only want to see the name of every user, the first name of every user, like Ashish, Yash, Arpit, Himanshu, Nayan, Bhavna, Akash, Himanshu, and so on. Yes or no? Yes or no? How you can do this? You can use map. Why? Because you want to do something inside each and every value. Yes or no? Now we want to do something inside each and every value. I want to just fetch the first name from each and every value. Correct? So what I will actually be doing is, see, I will go here and I will say that let names is equals to users is my array dot map. Correct? And inside this we need a function, so a function like this. And now here I can say I want to return what? See, now these are objects. So I will say here user is my variable. So user dot why dot, because user is an object, dot first name. And if I log this now, if I say console.log names, see, now I'm getting the names of every person. I can see Ashish, Yash, Arpit, Himanshu, and so on. Easy and simple. Yes or no? Is this easy? If it's easy, type yes in the chat box. If it's easy, type yes in the chat box. Yes, yes, very good, very good. Now, what if I do not want just the first names? User object, why we used, समझ नहीं आया. Vaishnav, listen. See, I created an array, right? Because I was needing so many users, correct? Right? So an array. And because every user was having so much information like the first name, last name, and all that. So I again need to structure that inside an object. Did you got the point, Vaishnav? Right? Okay. Now listen. Listen. What I want by default, if you see this, right now we are only getting the first names. Now, what if I need the first name and last name also, right? If I want to get the whole values like the first name and last name, I want to see the complete names. By default, if you see, they are in two different keys. I have a separate first name and then separately I have the last name as well. Yes or no? Yes or no? If I need them correct in combination, then what? What I want that I should see the name as a complete names. So I can say over here, names is what we are passing. We have the first names. So here I can go and I can say plus, I need a space in two names, again a plus, and I can say user dot last name as well. Yes. And now if you see this, see, I can get the complete names where I have Ashish Shukla, then I have Yash Goyal, and so on and so forth. Is this easy? Yes or no? Did you all got the point? Right? So again, these are few examples. A lot could be done with this. Okay. Got it, Ashish. Got it. Got it. Now what next? The next thing is filters. Right? Please listen out to me very carefully for the next 2 minutes. Right? Listen. The next thing which is very important is filters. Okay. You all would have seen when there is a job opening, a lot of people apply, correct? Yes or no? Yes or no? For example, there is a job opening of a front-end developer, imagine, and in that job opening, more than 500 people applied. So now what the company will do? The company will set a kind of criteria to filter the people out. And depending on that filter, they will be getting, let's say they got 50 people. And then they will be taking the interview process and then they'll be forwarding with the process. Correct? Yes or no? So what they did, they just created a filter, and depending on that filtered, they just filtered out few people out of 500 people. Yes or no? So what is happening? They are putting a condition, and the people who fulfill that condition is in a different is in a different list. Yes or no? Yes or no? The same thing filters does. For example, if I have so many values inside an array, I can use a filter to actually filter the values from it. Can you give me an example, Ashish? Let's start with a simple example, which is our ARR array. Correct? Okay. I'll go here. I will say that let number is equals to ARR is my array dot filter. Correct? Dot filter. Correct? And how we have to use it? I need a function. So this is how we can create an arrow function. And now I need a variable over here. So let's say n is the variable. And now I'm saying return, and return what? Return if the number is greater than 5. Let me show you. If I say console.log number, I will only be getting the numbers which is greater than 5. Yes or no? If you see this, I am getting 6, 7, 8, and 9 only. I'm not getting all the numbers now. Yes or no? I put a condition return where the number is greater than 5. So I'm only getting the values which is greater than 5. Ashish, one more example. See, imagine here we have the age of the people, correct, which is 24, 34. Let's say this age is 14. This age is 18. This age is again 16 also, right? Fine. Now what I only want the people whose age is greater than 18. Yes or no? Let's say that I am only interested in the people whose age is greater than 18. Yes or no? We can say that. Now what I will do, I will say that let mature users is equals to users dot filter, correct? Right? What is the filter now? I will use a function inside it like this. Inside this, I need a variable. So let's say user. And here I will say that return if the user dot age is greater than 18. Like this. And if I log this, if I say console dot log mature users, see, in total, I was having 12 users, but now I only got 9 users. Like this. Ashish, Yash, Himanshu, Nayan, Bhavna, Himanshi, Raghav, Nehan, Varat. Do you all got the point? I have talked about written in the last class itself, Satish. I said that I'll be talking about this class, but I talked about written in the last class itself. Yes or no? We talked about written in the last class itself. Okay. Is it clear to everyone? But Ashish, I have a question. Now, why I'm seeing all these values? Is it possible that I can only see the first name of all these people whose age is greater than 18? Is that possible? And if yes, then how? How many of you have this question? How many of you have this question? Yes, you can do that. You can do that. That's very easy and simple. How? See. Just see one thing. I am printing this variable called mature users. Everyone, listen to me very carefully. Everyone, hello, listen. See, I am using this variable mature users over here, correct? And if you see the output, Cheruka Shravani, if you can focus in the class, that would be great. Listen, everyone, listen. Mature user is the variable, correct? I am printing this variable, and if you see this, I'm getting an array, correct? Can you see this array symbol over here? Yes or no? I'm getting this array, correct? Yes or no? So this variable again becomes an array. Yes or no? Yes or no? So what I can do here, I can say mature users dot map. Can you see that? Because mature users became our array, and inside this, I will again use a function like this. I will say here user, and I can say over here return user dot first name, right? And I need to store this somewhere, so I'll say that let usernames is equals to this. And now I will take this variable called usernames. And if you see this, now I still have 9 people, but I just have the name of those 9 people. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? Yes. So that is how we can do it. Is it clear so far? Yes. Is it clear so far? No, you do not have to create a new variable. Is this clear to so far? I'm going to show you one more thing that you will love. I'm going to show you one more thing that you will love. But before that, is this clear to everyone? If it's clear, please type C in the chat box. And then I'll show you one more thing that you will love about it. Right? Yes, Abudi, we can do that. We'll talk about that also. Right? Instead of saying explain again, Albin, if you can let me know what do you want me to explain again, right? See, when you're saying explain again, please let me know specifically what you did not understood, okay? Can we talk about and key notation in JavaScript? I want to, which and you were talking about, Ashu, like the multiple conditions and or dot and key notations. Dot notation is what we're using, right? You can use it with object, you can use it with methods. A lot of things being used, right? Listen. Everyone, listen now to me very carefully. Can you all listen, everyone? See this. See. Right now, I'm using map like this, correct? But there is a shorter way to do this. How? Like this also, you can do it. Hey, what you did, Ashish? Listen now to me very carefully. Listen. See, just see this. Please listen very carefully. See, what I am writing inside this filter from users.filter to this point, that is actually getting converted to an array. Yes or no? And that array is stored in this variable called mature users. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? I have this array, like when I'm using users.filter and I'm writing something inside this, what I'm getting as a result, right, is actually an array, right? So instead of even creating a variable, I can directly say, I can assume this is my array, so I can directly say dot map here itself. Acha, we can do this also, yes, like this also. Are you getting this? And here also I can say return what? User dot first name. And I can say user over here. And now I'm just printing mature users. And if you see this, I am still getting this as well over here. Did you got this point? Now there are two questions that you might be having in the mind right now. Let me make it very clear as of now. Number one, what is this known as and what basically we should be using? Correct? So I will talk on that one by one. Please listen very carefully. Please listen very carefully. If you see this, I have used a filter first. I have used a filter first, and then I have added a map into it. Yes or no? So Ashish, can we only use a filter first and then the map? No. You can even use the map first and then you can use the filter if there are any such requirements. If there are any such requirements, you can even use the map first and then the filter. Okay. Can we only use it for 2 times? No. You can combine them as many times as you want. Like you can say filter, then you can say a map, then you can again put a filter, and then you can again say a map, and so on. As many times as you want, you can apply this chaining process. What is this known as? This is known as chaining. What is this known as? Chaining. What is chaining? If you have seen the structure of a chain, it is like one organized by other and then organized by other. Yes or no? In the same way it works. You created a filter, and in that filter you applied the map. In that map you applied the filter, and in that filter you applied the map, and you can use it as many times as you want depending on the needs. Okay, is this much clear to everyone? If it's clear, please type C for clear in the chat box. Yes. Okay, let's have a quick recap of what we have done, and then we'll be moving on to the next part. Okay, please listen. Let's have a quick recap of everything what we've done. Okay, listen out to me. For all the people who are still having any kind of confusions, listen. See, when we talk about array mapping and filters, it is basically when I want to do something with my arrays. If I want to modify my whole array, I will be using map. Correct? If I want to modify my whole array, if I want to do something with my whole array, I will use map. If I want to get some values out of my array, depending on a specific condition, I will use filter. Is that much clear to everyone? Is that clear to everyone? Yes, very good. Now, for example, I want to do something. I only want the to filter the females from this array. Yes, I am only want to get the female users from this array. Correct? What I can do, we can combine array mapping and filters. Yes or no? So can I say that? Can I say that let females is equals to users dot filter, because I want to do a filter first. What is the filter? In filter, I will say that return if the gender, or if the user dot gender equals to female. Correct? Correct? And now inside this, what I will be doing over here is I will just say the user variable, right? And if you see this now, console.log females, if you see this, I have got just 3 users, right? which is Bhavna, Himanshi, and Gali. Right now, I'm only interested in the I'm only interested in the name of them. Right. So what I can say here, I can just say that I have dot map, and in this map now I have three values. So I will modify those three values over here with the help of this is my arrow function like this. Here I'm saying I have this return and return what? Let's say user dot first name, and I have over here this user property. So if you see this now, I am only getting the name of the people. Easy and simple. Is chaining a legal word we are calling here? Yes, Salman, that is a legal word we are calling. That's the official word we are calling over here. Is it clear so far? If it's clear, please type C for clear in the chat box. If it's clear so far, please type C in the chat box. Now, one question that still a lot of people might be having in their mind is, Ashish, we have the functions for the same thing, right? So why we are actually using an array? Yes, or like why we are using array mapping and filters? The same thing could be done with the help of functions also. Yes or no? How many of you have that question? How many of you have that question? If you have that question, please raise your hands. Right? We'll talk about that as well. Can you show example of filter and map where we have object which is array as their different property? I didn't get a point. Please show an example of filter and map. Okay, where we have object which has array as their different property. I'm not getting your point, Priyesh. If you can just rephrase your question, right? JavaScript with HTML, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in today's session. What if we have nested array? Not an issue. See, the way how you are accessing it is going to be the same, right? If you have a nested array, then you have to, inside a map, you have to put one more map. That's it. Right? So the process will be same for that. Now, coming on to the point, can we use functions for the same thing? Yes, you can. For example, if I say, let's say I'm saying that I have a for loop, correct? And inside this for loop, I have let I equals to 0, and then I have I less than let's say 12, and then I have I plus plus y12 because my array has 12 values as of now. So I can go over here and I can say console.log, and if I say over here users, which is my array, inside this I will pass the index value, and I can say dot first name, right? If you see this, I can still get the first name of all the people like Yash, Arpit, Himanshu, Nayan, Bhavna, Akash, and so on. Then Ashish, why we use map? What was the purpose of doing that if the same thing is possible with this also? Listen, right now I'm using console.log, right? Which is actually not returning me an array. When I was using map and filters, I was getting result in form of an array. Yes or no? That was the major reason, right? And the second major reason was chaining. I can combine filters and map together, which is not possible inside the loops, right? These are the two major reasons why you should, prefer using mapping and filters rather than using the loops. Is that clear to everyone? Right? The next reason is by default, even if you say like, you cannot say return over here, correct? You cannot say return users dot first name, and you cannot store it somewhere like this. Like, are you getting my point? You cannot do this. That is not possible. If you say that let test is equals to this, that in itself is wrong, right? Right? So you cannot store it in a form of, I'm not saying you cannot do it, but that's a very complex process. You will use push every time, and then you will create a blank array, then you will inject one and one values, which is a bit complex thing, right? So and that are the two major differences why array mapping and filters are generally preferred rather than having the normal, for loop, right? Is it clear so far? Right? Is it clear so far? If it's clear, reduce not in today's session, Maruti. If it's clear so far, please type C in the chat box. And then we will be talking about something very easy, something very interesting, and something you all are excited about. Yes, Aban, correct. Listen, how many of you are actually excited to know, Ashish, whatever we are learning, what is the use of that? Where exactly we are going to use it? How many of you have the question? Like, when we are going to build something useful out of it? Like, whatever we are doing so far is okay, but when something useful? Yes or no? Yes or no? Let's do something useful today. Excited? Let's do something exciting now. Okay, let me quickly share my screen. Meanwhile, if you all can ensure that your cameras are on, that would be cool. Please make sure your cameras are on. Now what I'm doing, I will go in my HTML, and inside this, I will take a container class, and inside this container, I am adding an heading tag that says something like, have you joined the bootcamp live with a question mark, correct? Right? And after this, I also have, let's say, a description that is just a dummy description of 12 words. And then actually I also have a button over here with a class called button that says, yes, I joined. If you see this output now, generally it looks like, something, a normal HTML. I have a heading, I have a paragraph and a button, right? First of all, let me style this up, right? And then I'll tell you what exactly we are going to do. Okay, let's style this quickly. So if you remember, I have already created a CSS file. So I will just link my CSS file. And here I will just say that inside my body tag, the font family is going to be this. I could say that we have this button class where the background color is blue violet. I could say that the color is white. I could say that the padding is 15 pixels and 32 pixels. I could say that the border radius is going to be 12, let's say 40 pixels. I could even say that the font size is 16 pixels. And at the end, I'm also saying that the border is, see, because this is CSS, I'm not explaining this is not a CSS class. So I am not explaining CSS, but this is a very basic CSS. Width is done. We can say margin is 50 pixels. And if you see this, this is what we have made. Or I can say this is 450 pixels. Or 420 would be great. Looks good. Really easy and simple. No rocket science. Have you joined the bootcamp live? And a button that says, yes, I joined. Correct? Correct. Now what I want, I want is that when someone click on this button, that is, yes, I joined. When someone click on this button, at that moment, this should say, it should say, thank you for joining the bootcamp. Will that be cool? The moment I click on this button, this text will say, thank you for joining the bootcamp. Yes or no? Will that be cool? Great. Listen, how this will be done? Very easy and simple. Very easy and simple. See, what I will do, I will go over here. I will go inside HTML, right? Right? And what I want to do, when someone click on this button, then I want to do something. Correct? Correct? Before I tell you how this could be done, I have one single question. Just one single question. How many of you have clicked the doorbell of your neighbors in the past, and then you used to run away from there even before they open the door? How many of you have done that? Anushka has done that, Sonali has done that, Vahib has done that, Vainik Vadus, how many have done that? Shrisha has done that, Chandan has done that, Anusha has done that, Shravani has done that, Udya has done that, Vainik Vadus. Almost everyone. Yeah, please type me in the chat box. Shimpa, Sita, all right. Okay. Okay. Cherish, Pandru, Shri, tons of people who have done that. Ashish has done that. Okay. Okay. Why I'm asking this? Because I have done it multiple times. Right. Okay. Joke apart. So the thing is, why I was asking this, because I want to tell you something which is very important. Listen, listen. If you see this, if you see the process, basically it is a three-step process. When you click the doorbell, then the doorbell rings. Correct? My drawing is bad, so just try to understand. And when the doorbell rings, then only someone come and open the door. But by that time, you have a good speed and you run away from there. Correct? Can I say it is a three-step process, which is basically a trigger, an action, and a result. Correct? Trigger, action, and a result. Trigger means when I click the doorbell, trigger has happened, and because of that trigger only, an action has happened in the doorbell ring. Right? The doorbell, do not think that, okay, from the last 1.5 hours, I have not rang, so let me ring one time. It does not happen, right? It will only ring when someone will press the bell, correct? And when the doorbell will ring, like when the action has happened, then only someone will come and open the door intentionally, correct? Yes or no? Yes or no? In the chat box, please. Yes or no? Yes or no? Everyone, right? That is exactly what we want to understand. Now, this is a three-step process that I basically call as TAR, trigger, action, and result. Now, you will not get these things on internet or somewhere else, because these are my formulas that I have created to help you understand the things easily. Can you all type TAR, trigger, action, and result inside the chat box? Can you all do that? Can you all type TAR, trigger, action, and result inside the chat box? Yes? Yes? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now listen. Can you all remember this? Can you all remember this? Trigger, action, and result? Please listen very carefully. Listen, everyone. Hello. Hello. Listen. Listen. Anywhere. Anywhere where you have to do something in JavaScript that when I do this, then this should happen. It could be anything. When I click the button, then this should happen. When I click on title, this should happen. When I click here, this should happen. When I click there, this should happen. Yes or no? In all that case, the same formula works. Ashish, can you give me an example? See, what I want right now, when I click on this button, when I click on this button, then I want to do something. So can I say this button is my trigger point? Yes or no? Can I say this button is my trigger? And when someone click on this button, when someone click on this button, then only I will take an action. Yes or no? Then I will take an action. What is the action now? The action is basically that I can call a function. Yes or no? And now inside this function, I can write the logic to get my desired result. Yes or no? Inside the function, I can write the logic to get my desired result. Yes or no? Yes or no? The same thing happened with all the conditions where you say, if I do this, this should happen. If I do this, this should happen. Is it clear? Very good. What we are talking right now is DOM, document object model. What we are talking right now is DOM, which is document object model. Now, please listen very carefully how to actually implement this. Very easy and simple. What I want, when I'm clicking on this button, when I'm clicking on this button, then I want to do something, right? When I get the recordings of past lectures on day 5, Akash, listen, I will go over here inside this HTML file, inside this button, and I will say something like on click. What's the meaning of this? If you break it down, there are two words, on click. Yes or no? And I'm using, listen to me very carefully, everyone, please listen. On click, where? Button. Yes or no? So when I'm clicking the button, then what? Then I want to call a function. How to call a function? I will say I'm calling a function called join. That is how we call a function, correct? That is how we call a function, right? the function name and then the parenthesis, correct? Now I will go in JavaScript and I will create that function. Which function? I will go here, I will say that I have a function which is join function, and here I'm saying I have this console.log that says function called. Okay. Now if you see this, by default my console is blank. Please see this. By default my console is blank, right? And now see this. The moment I'm going to make a click, the moment I do that, the moment I click, it says function called. I have made a spelling mistake. It should be like this. Easy. The moment I'm clicking on this button, it says function call. Now what is happening? I'm able to interact. I'm able to use JavaScript, like the HTML and JavaScript together now. Yes or no? I'm clicking on my button and it says function call. See, by default it is blank. If I do not click it, it will never come. But the moment I make a click on the countdown of 3, 2, 1 and go, the moment I click, it says function call. Easy. Is it easy so far? If it's easy, please type ES, easy and simple in the chat box. Yes? Right? Okay. Okay. Now, please listen. What I want to do next, I'm not willing to do something in my console, but I actually want to change this text. I want to change this title, correct? I want to change this. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Listen. What I will do, I'm going over here. I want to target this heading. Yes or no? I actually want to target this heading. So I will say that I have an ID over here called title. Now, this name could be anything, XYZ, but I am using title for now. Okay. Now, I will go in my JavaScript. I will say that let title variable. I am saying document. Why document? Listen, whenever we want to do something inside my HTML, whether I want to see an element, I want to create an element, I will use this keyword called document. What is this? Basically, your HTML is a document file, and that's why we always start with the word called document. Okay. Now, inside this document, see, I'm saying I need this element where the ID is title. So I will say that document dot get element by ID. What is the ID name? Title. What it will do? See, if I just say console.log title, let's see what's happening. By default, my console is blank. The moment I make a click, I got the same heading tag that I was willing to edit or update. Yes or no? I got the same heading tag that I was willing to update. Correct? Yes or no? Yes or no? Very good. Now, what I want to change the value inside it. Correct? Which value? This value. I want to say thanks for join. Yes or no? See, I made a change over here and the value got changed here as well. Correct? That is exactly what I was willing. But I was not willing to make the change from console. That should be happening automatically. Correct? That should happen automatically. Correct? Now, how to do this? Very easy. For that, we have something in JavaScript which is known as inner HTML. Title, which is my variable, dot inner HTML, or you can say dot inner text for now. Ashish, what is the difference between inner HTML and inner text? I will talk about that in a couple of minutes, okay? We will talk about that in a couple of minutes, not now. Not now. We'll talk about that later, okay? We'll talk about that later. For now, inner text. Okay? Okay. And here, I am saying, thanks for joining the bootcamp live, right? And like this, and I can even add an emoji at the end, which could be this one. And now if you see this, By default, it is exactly the same. It is by default, have you joined the bootcamp live with a question mark? And now, please see this. If I click on this button, the moment I make a click, it says, thanks for joining the bootcamp live. How easy and simple this is. If it's easy and simple, type ES, easy and simple in the chat box. How easy it is? Yes? Easy? Cool. Okay. Okay. Now, I know you have two questions right now. Number one, Ashish, now this button is of no use. So can we also hide this button? And if yes, then how? Right? Because now this button is of no use. Number one. And number two, what is the difference between inner HTML and inner text? Correct? Okay. Now, all the people who have this question, how to add emojis? See, on Mac, you have a dedicated button for that, which is function. On Windows, I'm not sure, but I think it is Windows plus dot, right? Otherwise, you can go on Google and search the shortcut to add emojis in Windows and you will get that. Okay. I think it's Windows plus dot, but you can check it out. Okay. All right. Yeah. It's Windows plus dot. Thank you so much, Chandan Chahu, for the confirmation. Okay. Listen. Okay. Listen. Now what I want to hide this button, correct? So what I need, I again want to target my button. Yes or no? Now I want to target my button. And then only I will tell JavaScript, okay, I want to hide this button also, right? How? See, I will go inside my HTML and in this button, I will say that I have an ID also and the ID is also button. Okay. Now, inside JavaScript, I will take one more variable. I will say that this time I have the button variable. So let button is equals to document dot get element by ID. What is the ID? What is the ID? The ID is button, right? Now I got the button console.log button. If you see this, if I click on this, so see, if I click on, I have made an error. See, I'm getting this button now. I'm getting this button and now I want to hide this button, correct? So what I will do, I will apply some CSS, right? I will apply some CSS to hide this button. When I will apply the CSS, when someone is clicking that button, not by default. So inside this, I will remove this console.log and I will say that button, right? Dot style, because I want to apply some style, right? And now with style, if you want to change the background color, or you can apply any CSS over here, right? For example, if you want to change the background color, you can say background color, and you can say that the background color is tomato. Just an example. And now if you see this, if I click on this button, the button color has changed, right? So literally you can do anything. But what we want to hide this button for now. So what I will do, I will apply a CSS where I will say that the display of this button should be none. Okay. Now what will happen? My button will be hidden. Refresh. Have you joined the bootcamp live? Yes, I joined. It says thanks for joining. And now the button is also hidden. Easy and simple. Is this easy and simple? Yes or no? Yes, you can say visibility hidden also, Ashu. Is it easy so far? Okay, cool, cool. Now, anyone who has studied JavaScript before, this is a question of actually a lot of people, and that is what is the difference between inner HTML and inner text? How many of you have that question? Do we have a simple name for display property? Like is it? No, Saurabh, you do not. You do not. How many of you have that want to know the difference between inner HTML and inner text? How many of you are actually confused between the two? If you are confused, type me in the chat box, please. If you are confused, how to hide the paragraph? Same as button. Yes, Manasa, same as button. Target the paragraph and then display is equal to none. That's it. Okay. Listen, listen. Let's talk about what is the difference between inner HTML and inner text. Right. Okay. what I'm doing, I am just removing everything, correct? Everything is blank. In this container, I'm creating an ID also called test. Okay. Or let's say ID is demo, right? Simple. In my JavaScript, I'm saying that let demo is equals to document dot get element by ID. What is the ID? The ID is also demo. Simple. Now, see, I'm saying over here, if you see the output, we have a blank output. First of all, let's see the inner text. So if I say demo dot inner text is equals to welcome to JavaScript bootcamp, right? I will even copy this text for later use. I copied this. I can just see this normal text over here that says welcome to the JavaScript bootcamp. Easy and simple, right? Easy. Okay. And now, instead of this, if I say inner HTML, again, I'm getting the same thing. Then what is the difference between this? Let me show you the difference now. See. Inner text, right? If you want to write like this, what I made this as a heading tag. Yes or no? I made it an H1 tag, and inside that I add something. And what I'm using inner text. If you see this, I can see the tag name written over here like H1, right? Yes or no? But instead of inner text, if I say inner HTML, now what will happen? Now this actually became a heading. Did you got the difference? When we are using inner HTML, and if you are using the HTML tag, then it will convert to HTML. Apart from that, there's no other difference, right? Is that clear? If you want to create an HTML, if you want to display an HTML element, if you want to create an element, right? In that case, only you have to use inner HTML. Otherwise, you have to always try creating inner text. Is that clear, everyone? Can you please repeat? Rishabh, listen. Listen. Please listen. Listen. When I'm using inner text, I have this heading tag over here, correct? I have this heading tag, but if you see the output, I can see this heading tag, but the text is not getting converted to a heading, correct? But when you will be using heading, when you will be using HTML over here, it will convert your tag to the actual HTML like this. Did you got the point? Did you got the point? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Let's make one more application very quickly. Let's make one more thing and then we'll bind, okay? Let's make one more thing today. Yes or no? Excited? If you want me to create one more thing, type excited in the chat box. If you want me to bind it, if you're getting bored, you can let me know in the chat box. Cherish says, you are making things absolutely easy, which I felt complicated before. Thank you so much, Cherish. That's my job to make things easier for you, right? And but see, the things are very easy and simple. We make the things complex. Things are pretty easy and simple, right? Okay. Okay. So what we are going to make now is we are okay. This is not required anymore. Inside HTML, I will just copy this. I'll put it again over here. And inside this, right, I'll say that a JavaScript counter app. Okay. So this is a JavaScript counter app. And here I can have a button, let's say, increment, correct? And the function should also be increment. And now I also need one more heading tag with an ID called counter, where it says 0 by default. I hope you are able to understand what exactly we are trying to build, right? We are trying to build a function where if we click on the plus button, then the value should increase. And if we click on the minus button, then my value should reduce. Yes or no? Are you all getting what exactly we are going to build, right? How to make it very easy and simple. The same functionality, TAR, trigger, action, and result is what we are going to implement, right? Very easy and simple. Let's see how to do this. See, I will do few things before that. I'll go in CSS and I will say that if I have my counter, then I will say that the font size is going to be 60 pixels. So the size of counter is actually bigger, right? I can make it a little bit more bigger, let's say 120 pixels, like this. I can even say margin bottom is almost 0, like this. Last thing, in my container, I will say that the text align is center, so everything is center aligned like this. Simple. Looks good. Now I need one more button, the button for minus. Okay, so I can just copy this, I can put it over here, and I can say this time the button is to decrement, and we can also say the minus sign over here, and we can say the plus sign also over here. So if you see this, I have this plus and the minus signs over here. Simple. Now what I want, when I click on increment, the value should increase, and I click on decrement, then the value should decrease. Right? Okay. One more thing. Inside CSS, just a small CSS. I'll also say that we have a margin of 10 pixels. So my button is actually a bit away from each other. Okay. Now, as you all know how to do this, first of all, we are calling this increment function. So I will take this increment function. I will go here. I will say that we have a function called increment, and inside this function, we have something, correct? What? I need a variable to store the default value of my counter, yes or no? We need a variable by default, yes or no? Where we can actually store the value. So I can say that let counter is equals to 0, which means the default value when the program is starting, then the default value of my counter is 0, right? Now we can say when someone is calling this increment function, then the value of my counter becomes counter plus 1. What's the meaning of counter plus 1? See, listen, if the default value of the counter variable was 0, so I said 0 plus 1. So if the value was 0, then it will become 1. If the value of counter variable was 1, so 1 plus 1 becomes 2 and so on. Yes or no? Now I'm getting this, Ashish. Now what we want? We have updated the value, but I also want to display the updated value. Yes or no? Where? Inside this ID called counter. So I will go in JavaScript and I will say that document dot get element by ID. What is the ID? Counter. And inner text counter, right? So what will be the updated value of counter will get updated. For example, if you see this now, if I click on increment, by default it's 0. So 0 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 plus 1, 3. 3 plus 1, 4, and so on. Easy. Now what I want, I also want the decrement to work now. Right now it is increasing, but I want when I click on decrement, then my value should reduce. So I will go in HTML and I will say, this is my decrement function. And in JavaScript, I'll just copy the same value and I will say that now I want to reduce the value by 1. So if you see this now, when I'm incrementing it, the value is getting increased like this. And if I click on decrement, okay, it should be decrement like this. So if I click on, it's increasing. And if I click on decrement, now my value is even reducing 1 by 1. Easy. Yes or no? Now, Ashish, last question. Now my value is getting negative, right? What if I do not want my value to be negative? I do not want my value to be negative. How can I do that? Do you remember if and else, day two, conditionals, right? Can we use that? Can we use in this case? How? I can just say that if my counter variable is greater than 0, then only I want to reduce the value. Then only I want to perform these two lines. Otherwise, I do not want to do anything. Now, what will happen? If the value of my counter variable is actually greater than 0, which means the value is 1, then only this will work. So 1 minus 1 becomes 0. And if the value of counter is 0, then my condition is false. Then it will not reduce the value, right? See this. If I go here, if I click on decrement right now, nothing is happening. I click on increment, my value is increasing. I click on decrement, it is reducing, and the moment it becomes 0, now it is not going down. How easy it is? Now, I want to answer a question that a lot of people was having from day one onwards. Ashish, why you are not telling the use cases? Why we are just learning these boring concepts? Now, the thing is, just only one thing. If I have told you, see, this is a 5 minutes application that we have built, right? We have made this in just 5 minutes. But if I would have made this on day one, would it be easy for you to understand? Would it be easy that how the variable is working? What is if and else? How we are calling the functions? What is happening inside the functions? Are you getting my point? Right? That is why in order to even build a 5 minutes application, you need to have a complete basics understanding. Once you have the core ready, once you have the basics ready, then you can actually do and build a lot of stuff. Do you all agree with me? If you agree, type agree inside the chat box. If you agree, type agree in the chat box. Right? Okay. Tomorrow, live exactly at 6 p.m., we will actually be building two applications. We will be building a bill split application. Not just that, we will also be building a BMI application, and I will show you how we will also be building a simple registration system, a student registration system, and I will show you how you can how you can actually do and build more than 3,000 projects. I'll give you a list of 3,000 projects tomorrow that you can actually build only by the concepts that I have taught you so far. And what kind of projects? Projects like BMI application, TDS calculator, mutual fund calculators, EMI calculator, interest rate calculators, principal amount calculator, and so on. More than 3,000 projects. Ashish, are you kidding? Like, is it possible to create more than 3,000 projects only just with the concepts we have learned so far? Yes, that is a possible, and I will be sharing that list and will be making tomorrow things like bill split application, BMI application, and a student registration system. Right? How many of you promise to join live tomorrow exactly at 6 p.m.? Yeah, thank you. Waiting for others. Will you join tomorrow live exactly at 6? Yeah, cool, cool. Now, now, I have a question. I have a question. Have you ever found JavaScript to be that easy and simple? Have you ever thought JavaScript could be this easy as well? Have you ever thought JavaScript would be that easy and simple? Right? Today, before I bind the session and before I start taking the questions, I'll do two things. Number one, we will be having a quick selfie. And then I want to tell you something that is very important that generally no one talks about. Please quickly turn the videos on. We'll have a quick selfie session. I'll take a selfie and then we'll move on to the next point. Yeah? Okay. Please be quick. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Waiting for others. So we are having a selfie on a countdown of 3, 2, 1, and go. I will be sharing this with all of you inside the WhatsApp group. Please use it inside your social media if you want, if you really feel, do that. And now, I want to talk something very important. Something literally very important. If you're here right now I can guarantee you want to be a front end or a full stack developer, right? You want to basically learn web dev. Either you need a job or an internship, or you need to switch your job, or you want to start your own side hustle or freelancing journey, or you want to learn it for your college projects. These might be the only three reasons. Correct? Yes or no? Correct? Right? Now, because of that, what you all would have done, I can guarantee right now you all would be having at least 3 to 4 Udemy courses on web dev, at least 5 to 10 YouTube playlists bookmarked. Correct? Ashish, have you hacked my system? No, I haven't. But I exactly know this because I have done the same in the past. And even a lot of people have done that, right? So if it is all about the course or the content, you already have a lot, right? It's exactly not about having a course or a curriculum or not about having the content. It's actually about learning under the guidance of a mentor. Do you all agree? Do you agree on that? If you agree, type A for agree in the chat box, right? And that is the only reason why you are able to get so much value in the last 3 days, right? The only reason was that you have just spent it like 90 minutes for 3 days. So it becomes 270 minutes in total, right? But I can guarantee if you had spent it 270 minutes on YouTube, you would have not learned this much, right? You know what the reason is? There are simple two reasons. Number one, since you were attending it live, it was really distraction free. Your whole focus was attending the session because you know that if I have no other options available, right? But what happened in YouTube? You start YouTube by watching a JavaScript or a CSS or something in React, and in a couple of minutes, you get a suggestion somewhere and you start doing something else, right? That's reason number one. Reason number two is being a curious people, we do not know where to spend time and focus and where to spend our energy, right? And we initially focus a lot on how to do this and how to do that. Do you all agree? Initially, we want to build so many things, we want to do so many things, and that's why we go on YouTube, we go on Udemy, we go on internet and we search how can I create this, how can I make this kind of design, how can I make this logic, how can I create this kind of stuff, and so on and so forth, right? And that is actually where the whole dilemma starts, right? You go on YouTube, you go on internet and you search, let's say, how to create a BMI application using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And at that moment, you will be getting more than more than 100 videos or links for the same question that you have asked. And everyone would be actually explaining you a different logic, a different way of writing the code. And the biggest confusion is when they all get the same results, right? And that is where we get confused on what is right and what is wrong. Should I follow this or should I follow that? What I'm learning, is that correct or not? What I'm learning, is that the right updated code or not? Should I even go with this or not? And that is where we start figuring the things out, what I should learn and what I should avoid, instead of actually learning it. And then we feel I'm spending a hell lot of time to figure out web dev, to learn web dev, but I'm not able to do that, right? And then we feel there are a lot of things in web dev, and this is not for me. If I'm not able to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, how I will be learning Bootstrap, how I'll be learning React, then Node, then backend, and so on and so forth. Correct? Yes? Do you want me to tell you a very simple solution for this? Do you all want me to tell you a very simple solution? Right? Okay. Now, what if I say, to tell you this solution, this, what I'm going to tell you right now is what more than 30,000 people have applied in the last 1.5 years, and they have got amazing results. And I will be telling you that simple secret, but I will be charging you 2,000 rupees for that. How many of you are ready to pay that? How many of you are ready to pay me that? 2,000 rupees just to tell you what mistakes you are making and how you can streamline that to learn the things easily and quickly. Okay. And what if I say, today, for the people who are live over here, as a bonus, I will be telling you that for a free cost, right? See, generally, why I said that, because when we get the things for free of cost, we we do not, we take the things for granted, right? When we get the things for free of cost, no matter how big thing or how much valuable thing you get, we take it for granted, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, what I'm going to tell you right now is priceless. These are very simple tips, but literally priceless if you do that. Want to listen? Right? Want to listen? Listen. There are just 3 things that you need to follow. If you do that for the next minimum 60 days required, it could be 60 days, 90 days, 180 days, or how much time you have. Okay, that's up to you. But minimum 60 days. 3 things. And I guarantee, no matter what, from which background you are, no matter at what level you are currently, you will be in a different situation, in a different position. Okay, Ashish, now quickly tell me that. Those 3 points. Number 1, stop doing research. Number 1, stop doing research and stop figuring out how to do this and how to do that. That's the biggest blunder the beginners do, right? Stop your curiosity for a moment. Instead of that, create the curiosity on how you can use a concept to solve and create multiple kind of problems. Are you getting my point? Imagine when you were in your high school, or when you were in the intermediate, right? Literally, let's say high school, right? You never memorize how to solve mathematical problem, but you learned the formula, you learn how to use that formula, and using that formula, you were actually able to do thousands of things, correct? Have you ever did that you search on Google how to solve this problem, and then in the same exercise, you go and put that same question again, how to solve this problem? Will that make sense? Will that make sense? That is exactly what you're doing right now, right? Even if you have the same kind of problems, you go on internet and again search how to do this, how to do that, and how to do that, and you get thousands of results, and then you get confused. Do you all agree with me? So initially, your focus should be to understand the concepts and understand the use cases, right? Ashish, from where to learn? Like, I already have so many YouTube courses, I already have so many Udemy courses, I have tons of things. What to do? Listen, you should have a mentor, right? Why I'm saying this? It could be your college senior, it could be someone in your neighborhood, it could be someone on internet, it could be someone in your family, anyone who can actually teach you, who actually has some experience and who has a good skill of teaching. Now, do not call your friend after this meeting and say that Ashish told me that we need a mentor to learn web dev, so you become my mentor, and he himself is learning from YouTube and coming and teaching you the next day, right? So when I'm saying mentor, it means someone who already has some experience in that specific field and who can teach you and with whom you can resonate, right? So surrender yourself to a mentor, just blindfold your eyes, believe what he says for the next 60 days. And so what will happen? Your whole focus will just to understand and practice rather than figuring the things out, right? And last thing is very priceless. What I'm going to do right now is the most priceless thing. What is that? You'll not believe implementation, right? We hear so many things, we see so many things, but we at the end we do not implement. Correct? I can guarantee you all would have watched so many roadmap videos to be a front-end developer, to be a full stack developer, correct? But why you are lacking behind? Because you never implemented that. And even if you start implementing, the next day or after a couple of days, you have a confusion, you are in a state of confusion that whether what I'm doing right now is right or not. Yes or no? Why that happens? That happens, Rishabh, if you can focus in the class, that would be cool, right? So why that happens? That happens because you do not have a mentor. So even if you following a roadmap, you will be in a state of confusion, like whether what I'm doing is right or wrong. Yes or no? Do you all agree with me? If you all agree, type A for agree in the chat box. Because you were here, I literally want you to succeed in this field. And that is why I just want you to do these 3 things. No matter you are continuing with me, no matter you are coming live tomorrow or not, no matter you are doing something with me or not, that's a different thing. But I literally want you to succeed in this field. And if you just do these 3 things, they might sound like useless, or they might sound like this is something that everyone says. But believe me, if you will do these 3 things, it will give you the results, right? But you have to do it, then only you will get the results. If you know something and like you are someone who know this and there's one more person who do not know this, you both have no difference. The results will only come when you will actually do it, right? Knowing that to have a great body, to have a good health, we need to do exercise daily will not make a difference until and unless you go and do that. In the same manner, knowing these three things will not make a difference until and unless you go and do that, right? So I literally want that you people do that for the next, at least for the next 60 days. And I guarantee you will come back and thank me. Rashish, what you have told has literally changed the way on how I look at web dev or anything. It will be anything, right? The same thing applies for anything. It could be web dev, it could be app dev, it could be data science, machine learning, or whatever you want. Anything, right? But these three things at least minimum for 3 months. Can you all do that? Can you all do that? If you trust me, can you all do that? Right? If you trust me, even 1% just do that for the next 30 days, minimum 30 days, 60 days, and you will see the results on your own. Right? Okay. On that note, I hope your eyes are open today what exact mistakes you're making and how you can actually resolve them out. If your eyes are open, type EOI opener in the chat box, and then I'll be taking few questions, and then we will be binding today's session. Yeah. Thank you so much. Waiting for others. Thank you. Thank you. Waiting for others. Thank you. Thank you, Radhika, Vahib, Chandan, Darshan, Jivana, Saurabh, Deepika, Cherish, Sugana, Nadan, Nishant. Radhika says, when will be covered the difference between let, val, and const? If time allows, we'll do that tomorrow, Radhika. Okay. Repeat the three things, please. Hetal, so the three things are focus on concepts and use cases, number one. Number two, surrender yourself to a mentor. And number three, do and implement and practice what your mentor says. Right? Okay. I missed the day one tutorial. What you taught exactly? Variables, data types, arrays, and objects in the chart. Okay. Can we use JavaScript and CSS similarly? Actually, we are moving to JavaScript as it's dynamic. Then again, we are creating CSS folder. But why? For styling, Manasa, right? CSS you need for styling, right? Please put your questions one by one. I'll take your questions one by one, and make sure your videos are on if you're asking the questions. Right? You will get the assignments today, and you will be getting the option to submit them as well. Right? Okay. Okay. So can we use only one function to increment and decrement counter instead of two separate functions? Shirish Gopala, no, you cannot. How you will actually tell that this time I want to increment and this time I want to increment? JavaScript cannot read your brain, right? You need to tell him that, okay, now I want to add and now I want to decrement. So you need one function for increment and one function for decrement separately, right? Can't use ID. Where you will use the ID? You are saying that you are using the ID in the button and then you are tracking that if the ID is this, then I will do this. That you can do. But the thing is, you will write a lot of code, you will track that ID, then you will say if and else, and then you will say if this, then that, if the. Why to make the things, see, there are so many ways of doing something, but the thing is, if you can do the things in an easier manner, like, see, if there's a car, you can open the back door, you can sit over there, and you can still jump and come to the seat of the driver, right? But why to do that when you can open the front door and you can easily sit over there, right? So, yeah, that's it. Can I have a look at examples you gave on map and filters? I'll be sharing the source code, Harshit. You can take a look on that. Right. Where to use let and const, really enjoying my time. Thank you so much, Wahib. So let is basically when you want to update the values later on, and const is something when you do not want to update the value at any cost. For example, you want that I will be calculating 10% TDS for all the people. Like I'll be reducing 10% value of all the people, correct? As the TDS. So you can say const TDS is equal to 10. So because you don't want to update the value and you want to ensure that due to any condition, the value of TDS is not getting updated. So that is how where you can use const. Apart from that, it should be let on. Best project to demonstrate JavaScript project from this class in my resume. Sandesh, see, where are you, Sandesh? I didn't get HTML part new to HTML. Aditya, where are you? If you do not know HTML, why you are learning JavaScript? If you're not knowing HTML, why you are learning JavaScript? You should go and learn HTML first, right? If you are coming and learning HTML, I have a very strong belief that you will be having at least a basic understanding of HTML. If you do not have that, please learn it. Right? It will just take 30-40 minutes. You can learn very easily. Right? How to select topic in JavaScript which is useful? Shweta. That is exactly why you need a mentor, Shweta. Right? If you go on documentations, you will even spend months and you will still feel that JavaScript is so big. Right? But if you have a right mentor, you can just learn it in 15 to 20 days, which will be more than enough JavaScript to do and build the stuff. Right? So that is why I'm saying you need a mentor, right? Having a mentor is very important. Can we connect on LinkedIn? Absolutely, Wahid. Just send me a request. I will accept that. Right? You can just search founder of Code Karo, you will get that. Just make a Google search, founder of Code Karo, you will get that. Okay. Any more questions? It took a lot of time when creating the counter application in college, but you thought it's so simple. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Umme Kulsum. Thank you so much. Any more questions? What is the topic tomorrow? Tomorrow will not be learning something new, but we'll be making projects on whatever we have done so far, right? Whatever we have learned so far, using all those things, we will be building a bill split application, a counter app, and a student registration system. Any more questions? Can you suggest a good laptop for a BTech student from computer engineering background? No budget issues. See, Aditya, first of all, this is not a class for that, right? And coming to the second point, like, see, everyone has their own personal preferences as well, right? Apart from just the specs. But if you ask my preference, I'll definitely use it from a very long. Apart from that, it could be anything that you can just make a YouTube search or a Google search and you will get tons of options, right? But if you will ask me, it is like a Mac, right? How to work for freelance? Sugana Nadar, where are you? Where are you, Sugana? Okay. So see, Sugana, that is the biggest problem. We initially want to just do freelancing, we initially want to get a job, we initially want to do a lot of things. But your initial focus should be to have a skill for someone in for something which anyone can pay you for. For example, if I would have not the skill, why would have you paid 199 or something or an amount and you came over here? Correct? Why would have you made me a payment if I was not having the skill to teach you? Right? So initially your focus should be to achieve some skills that you can actually use that someone is looking for. Now you should also have a skill that someone is looking for. Now if you have something that no one is searching for or that no one requires, then again it's of no use. The second thing is, once you have that, you should have something to show to others, right? Because in the current scenario, no one will say that, okay, you can do it. See, if randomly I come to you and say that, okay, I know JavaScript, I'll teach you. Will you pay me 200 rupees? Even it's a very small amount, but you will not do that, right? But when you see that, okay, these many people have already studied, these are the feedbacks of those people, right? This is what the benefits people have got when you have seen my reviews on LinkedIn, maybe on internet, maybe on Google, maybe on Instagram or somewhere. Then you decide, okay, let's give it a try. Correct? Yes or no? So you should have something where you can actually show the exact things that, okay, this is what I have done in the past, this is what my experience is, and this is what I can give to you as a value if you pay me. Right? And that is where you can start your freelancing journey. Right. Okay. Okay, will we get all these codes? Yes, Ita, as you have been getting from the last 2 days as well, you'll be getting it today as well. To convert PSD into HTML using JavaScript, to convert PSD into HTML using JavaScript, we take too many lines of code. I feel though to do, as I'm beginner level, I'm confused to do. Manasa, initially you should not have the focus of that to do that. Initially, your focus should be to learn things first. Because if you're just figuring out how to convert a PSD design into like a web page, if you don't have the right skills, it will be it will be a problem for you, right? If you have the skills, you can easily convert any page, right? And how many lines of code is required, that depends on how complex the UI is. Depending on that decides like how much code you have to write. Can you suggest me some tips to improve my logic building? Wahib, fine. Any more questions? May I know when I will get first day winning prize? Haven't you got that Jaya yet? I will check that and get it updated today itself. I'll check that. Okay. So Wahib says, can you suggest me tips to improve my logic building? Wahib, where are you? Okay, fine. See, I hope you know how to drive a bike or a scooty or a cycle, correct? Just imagine day one when you tried making a balance in a cycle. Was that the most difficult thing? Right? When initially you did that on day one, it was like, how anyone can make a balance on just two wheels, right? It is the most difficult thing. You might have fall for multiple times. You even might have fall for multiple times. And now you even not have to think about it. Correct? Why that has happened? Practice, right? You did it so many times that now you have to practice, right? Okay. Let me give you one more example. If you remember, in your high school, you were able to solve a lot of complex, problems of integration and calculus and stuff like that. But if you go and now see the same problem, it might be difficult for you to even understand that. Correct? Why? Because of practice. In the same manner, see, it is not the case that I'll tell you some secret, I'll tell you some secret sauce, I'll tell you some logic, I'll tell you, and you will just do that and then your logic will become good instantly, right? Nothing like that happens. You have to practice and practice and practice, and that is how you improve in logic building, right? There is no secret for that. The only secret is practice and hard work, right? Does latex works on MacBook? I have no idea, Aditya. Um, is the recordings for lifetime access? No, Nishant. The recordings are not for lifetime access. The recordings are only for 3 months. Why for 3 months? Because if you have not watched in 3 months, you will, believe me, never watch it in the whole lifetime, right? So 3 months is more than enough, number one. And number two, things gets updated for a period of time, right? So I specifically believe there's no point learning something which is outdated, right? Might be something new coming in future or something new and something new. So that's more than enough, right? All right. So thank you so much. I'll see you all tomorrow live exactly at 6. We will be building some cool applications, and I'll be sharing a list of more than 3,000 projects that you can do and build all on your own by the end of tomorrow's session itself, right? So I'll see you live tomorrow. Bye. Take care. Have fun. The source code and the assignment will be available inside the WhatsApp group shortly. So please take a look onto it. I'll see you all tomorrow live at 6. Bye bye. Take care and have fun. Bye, everyone.